Hello, welcome to Local Anesthetic Podcast, your regular injection of weird, strange, bizarre news stories, sourced locally, of course, and from around the world. And joining us as always, but a few weeks ago I was very sick. It's Rob's turn now. We haven't been in contact, so I'm not to blame. Rob, you have COVID.
Yes, I felt it had been too long since COVID was last mentioned on the podcast. So I purposely went and caught it. And it's been a fun week. It's not just me. Sarah's come down with it as well. Lyra seems to be okay for the time being, so I'm hoping that doesn't develop into something. But yeah, it's been a particularly nasty strain, I'll be honest. I think this is probably the worst I've had it. Yeah, I mean, what else can you say about it, Alex, really? It is what it is.
Rob, only beta males suffer with COVID. Alpha males welcome it. It puts hairs on your chest, Rob.
Yeah, absolutely. I've got quite a lot of hairs anyway. I was happy about it, Alex. I mean, what better Christmas present could you possibly have?
Oh God. Right. Apart from you having COVID, and of course, we all wish Rob well. No, we do, Rob. I suspect that's exactly what I have. Did we talk about some of the aching body parts I had? Did we mention that on the podcast? We did. Have you had any of those aching body parts as part of this strain?
No.
Right. Okay. Well, you might have that to come.
Okay. I've had an aching body, but not particularly in the trouser region. So
right. Okay. Is there any news, Rob, before we get on with this podcast?
No, we can crack on.
Okay, listen, I've got some three briefly noted stories and one main story. We need to update what I spoke about last week, Rob, with the man at the Come and Go convenience store. You remember he was found masturbating, ironically, at a store named Come and Go, spelt K-U-M and Go. You come and go, etc. That Rob just didn't even register my rendition there of.
It was lovely, Alex.
What was the name of the band again?
Culture Club, fronted by that guy, Boy George. That's his name.
Boy George. Yeah. This is from Dexerto.com. An Iowa man accused of exposing himself and then taking off from a Come and Go gas station denies he was doing anything more than just, Rob, scratching his genitals. Right? And just having a scratch.
With them exposed?
I'm not sure. Gas stations have been home to some of the wildest viral incidents, from GTA-style shootouts to epic 8-on-1 fights. I need to know about that. No. But there are some things people just don't want to see. And as you know, Rob, according to the Smoking Gun, cops received a 911 call from customers at Come and Go about a man who allegedly made sexual comments to them and began touching himself inappropriately. So I don't know what his excuse for the sexual comments are, but he says he's innocent. This is just a giant misunderstanding. When questioned by the cops, he said, "I was scratching my genitals and not exposing himself." His prior convictions, however, do include felony theft, driving without a license, along with possession of narcotics. Anyway, I thought, I should just update people on that story.
Lovely.
Right. Another brief story, Rob, comes by way of The Independent. It's by Benjamin Parker. From Monday, the 20th of November, 2023. The headline is brilliant, and unfortunately the details in the headline aren't quite what you think, but it's just a brilliant headline. Airline serves, in quotes, dog food to business class passengers. In translation, blunder.
In translation, blunder? Okay.
Exactly.
So it wasn't this airline trying to stick it to the rich? Which is disappointing, I'll be honest.
Yeah. The food served on planes. By the way, sorry, because you just said about sticking it to the rich, I don't know what I thought about this, but I immediately thought about Elon Musk's rants. I think it was yesterday.
Yes.
Did you see this? I mean, it was quite extraordinary, wasn't it? Telling his advert to go fuck themselves, literally.
Yeah, it's a brave move. I mean, I was interestingly, I subscribe to the Guardian's daily sort of news summary podcast, and they were saying this morning actually, they think that he's trying to cause X to go bankrupt because that will shield him from various interest payments owed to banks. So that's what they think he's trying to do.
Is that really how cynical this could possibly be, Rob?
Well, it's the fact that Twitter apparently it's lost 55% of its value since he took over the brand, and a lot of people are speculating that it's going to go into bankruptcy regardless. So I think he's just trying to hasten the demise. Right,
but what, by making anti-Semitic comments to get advertisers to pull out? What a prick.
Well, I think it was the fact that he when he took over in March, he said that the company would be turning a profit by June this year, and obviously that hasn't happened, Alex. And it's basically just hemorrhaging money and also users as well.
Yeah. Okay. The food served on planes doesn't have the best reputation at the best of times, but even the most iron-stomached among passengers might think twice before ordering a mistranslated menu option on a recent flight. Now, Rob, a mistranslated menu option on a recent flight, I'm calling it now. I want that as the episode title.
Yeah, brilliant. Also, that implies that it implies to some degree that the passengers in the plane chose that option. They just didn't understand what it meant. So the dog food was already that was already going to be served.
A photo taken by a passenger on a China...
This was Ryanair, right?
No, it's China Eastern Airlines, Rob. Shows the menu for those flying in business class, and I'm looking at it here. I've got the picture. So it says appetizer, smoked pepper beef, / vanilla shrimp, imported dog food, and okra.
Imported dog food does imply that it's a classy dog food, so to be fair.
Does it? Okay. One unfortunate English translation has got people talking. Among the choices for a starter is imported dog food with okra. Almost 1,000 people have reacted to the Facebook post, with hundreds of comments and shares. A man called Edward Poon,
great name,
incredible name, asked if it meant the airline was pet friendly, while another said it was because they treat you as a dog, not human. That's libelous.
Yeah.
The consequences of Google Translate, warned Coleman. So while Dai Ching joked, must be a hot dog? ? What hilarious comments. And the image was also shared on Reddit. With one user picking up on the fact it was specifically imported dog food. Apparently economy passengers only get domestic dog food. That's quite funny. You can rely on the good people of Reddit to be humorous.
Brilliant.
It's not clear what dish the translated menu on board the Eastern China flight is referring to. The Independent has contacted the operator for clarification, but, Rob, we don't know. Japan Airlines, Rob, had been trialling the JAL ethical choice meal skip option. This is all capitalized, Rob. This is another airline who's been trying the JAL ethical choice meal skip option. Basically, you don't eat.
Who the fuck's been choosing that site? If you're shelling out, because let's face it, flights have got so much more expensive since after the pandemic. Why would you choose not to eat?
For ethical reasons, Rob. Something you wouldn't understand.
Right.
And in a nightmare in-flight meal scenario, I have to say, Rob, a nightmare in-flight meal scenario. My God.
As soon as you said it.
Yeah, you knew. A business class passenger on a flight to Japan in February who ordered a vegan breakfast was bemused when they were presented, Rob, with a single banana and a pair of chopsticks. Also a very good episode title.
I mean, it's not wrong, is it, Alex? I mean, surely if you...
Here's your vegan meal.
If you were the steward serving that, surely you must have known you were taking the piss by when you put down a banana and some chopsticks.
Yeah. When she served the banana after takeoff, I thought it was just an underwhelming appetizer, he said, but it was in fact an entire meal service. There are some comments, only 3. Richard in Wheelston, thanks Richard, you won't be hard to track down, said, this has done nothing to make me want to travel on China Eastern Airlines. They're also offering shark's fin and corn dragon bone soup and stewed seafood, none of which appeal to me. I'll stick to a European airline with a more conventional menu. All right, mate. Hammer Syria.
Casual xenophobia there, that's okay.
Yeah. Hammer Syria says, well said, Richard. After reading this article, who on earth would want to travel with China Eastern Airlines? I expect better, Rob, from the good commenters of the Independent, to be honest.
Yeah.
Anyway, right. Another briefly noted story here. This is by way of the United States from Delish.com. It's by Megan Scholtiger from November the 1st. Grubhub driver claims delivering cup of urine instead of milkshake was, in quotes, an accident.
Oh, come on. We can see how that happens. Let's be honest. I mean, we've obviously mentioned before about Amazon and their delight, because obviously
that's me drowning out, Rob.
Record. Oh,
I use Amazon. I probably use Amazon to order something almost every day, and that's not a joke. It's quite distressing and worrying how much I've come to rely on it, but it's so convenient, Rob.
right. But there was a story about an Amazon driver having to piss in his van. I think numerous stories, and it's all on public record. I'm just saying that you can understand how, in this particular situation, you can understand how this delivery driver may have actually delivered the wrong cup.
I don't understand the whole Amazon thing, and if the lawyers are listening, I will try and tread carefully here. But right, I read a whole profile recently about Jeff Bezos, and from a very respected publication and a journalist I respect, and they were saying basically Jeff Bezos is a really interesting guy and apparently very so to me he's a paradox, right? This is a guy who bought the Washington Post and has let them have complete editorial control, doesn't get involved, wants a completely free press. This whole idea of democracy dies in darkness, really believes in this kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Open journalism, all of this. There are so many areas where he is very invested in well-being and and everything else, and then he's got this situation with his Amazon workers which just seems intolerable.
Yes.
And but also I'd like to say that Jeff Bezos, Rob, is a very macho cowboy, isn't he? Have you not seen those pictures of him with his girlfriend or partner where he's sort of posing with his sort of biceps and his cowboy hat, and she's obviously had a lot of work done and all of that? He feels very like this is what a man is, and I'm going to put these pictures out of what a man is. That's what it feels like.
I haven't seen those, and I'll be honest, I won't be looking them up. Well,
I did specifically look them up, Rob. Yeah, for titillation purposes. Yeah,
right. Okay,
I wanted to see Jeff Bezos looking like a cowboy.
Sure. No, I still stick with Putin when he's riding a horse topless.
Yeah, it's a bit like that. Anyway, a Utah man has been left rightfully scarred. That's a bit judgmental. After he received and sipped from, in quotes, a warm cup of urine that a Grubhub driver delivered in place of a Chick-fil-A milkshake. What's that?
What?
Is that got chicken in it?
That sounds,
Maybe it's chicken milkshake.
That sounds like a chicken milkshake, yeah.
I think McDonald's or some other brand should just openly say, look, after we make your sort of your chicken burger, your chicken nuggets, your fried chicken, like if this is KFC or whoever, we have a lot of chicken just sort of left over. It's sort of the mangy bits hanging off the bone, and we're going to just crush all that up and give it to you in a milkshake. 50p. What do you say?
KFC could do a chicken whip milkshake and people will go mad for it.
I don't think you're wrong, actually. Caleb Woods told a local news outlet that he ordered fries and a shake from the fast food joint via Grubhub. When I started eating my meal upon delivery, I put a straw in my cup and took a sip. I soon discovered that the cup delivered to me from the Grubhub driver was a warm cup of urine. Now, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
You might know what this question is going to be.
Have I ever drank urine?
If you've never tasted... No, that's second. If somebody has never tasted urine, how would they know that what they're drinking is urine?
Yeah, well, that's a good point. Yeah, I completely agree.
No, so why didn't he think it was some sort of exotic beverage? Why did he think it was urine? That suggests to me that this man has got urine drinking experience. If I'm in a blindfold and you put shit on a plate, right, and my nose is covered and everything, and you get me to eat it, I'm not going to know what the fuck it is because I've never eaten shit.
Well, there's a possibility that he may have taken a sip and, looked in the cup before then contacting the local paper. That's
could have been possible. Fermented apple juice, Rob.
It could have been,
otherwise known as cider, by the way.
Yeah.
Anyway, he confronted the delivery driver who had not yet left. Oi! The entire conversation was captured on Wood's home security system. I'd love to see that. Did you confuse the cups? Because, dude, it's half full of pee, Woods told the driver while holding the styrofoam cup in question. Do you realise this is pee? The Grubhub worker admitted to accidentally switching the cups. He said he relieves himself into a cup in the car because of the long hours he works, Rob, and that's why he deserves dismissal. You got to, it's just part of the job. Piss in your pants. Woods...
piss in the van. What's the matter with you?
Woods said that some of his money was refunded, but he wasn't compensated in full. I think that's
some
bad.
Of his money.
The order cost $25. They refunded $18. That's fair enough.
Sorry, $25 for a drink?
No, I think it was a whole meal. Remember, I think it wasn't it.
Oh,
I hope, wasn't it? Or maybe it wasn't. You're right. Anyway, Grubhub has since commented on the incident. They said, "We took immediate action with the driver and ended his contract with us." The company said in a statement, "We're following up with the customer to apologise and are coaching the representative who is previously in touch with the customer." Earlier this year, DoorDash suffered similar criticism when a driver spit on a 13-year-old boy's food after not receiving a sufficient tip. The food delivery company similarly apologised in a statement, claiming that while they empathised with the frustration of not receiving a tip, the behaviour was unacceptable and falls far below the high-quality experience they aim to provide. Right. Okay, Rob, on to my main story. I don't know why I'm reading this out, Rob. It's from the Wales Online. Sometimes, Rob, I just feel like I don't know, there's something about a story that captured my imagination, but I'm going to say to you again, this is one of these stories which actually is a break from the sort of comedy lunacy of the other stories, and this is a serious, sombre story, and I'm actually saying it is. I just want to read it. I don't know why. It's from the Wales Online, Rob. It's by Andrew Foxgrave, who is their countryside and tourism editor, and Will Hayward, their Welsh affairs editor. Now, Rob, I'm reading this story out more as a public service announcement. I've talked about something that happened with a friend of mine. Do you remember I told you that story about that friend of mine and his dad, who when they were younger, they kind of were staying in some village or something, and there was sort of a beloved village donkey there, and they fed it.
I do, yep.
They fed it, I think, sugar cubes or something, and the next morning it was dead. And I know, Rob, that you have a penchant for going out with Lyra and feeding ducks. We've talked about how irresponsible it is. So this is a public service announcement. It's by Andrew Foxgrave, as I say, and Will Hayward. Headline: Rare horse and unborn foal killed after being fed by ignorant stranger.
Right. What was it, fed a Twix?
Wasn't Ignorant Stranger a song by Madonna?
I believe it was, yeah.
I think it was something like that. A pregnant horse of a very rare breed has died after being fed by passers-by. The breeder of the horse, which is one of the world's rarest, I think the horse, not him, right, was heartbroken to find a prized brood mare lying dead in a field. And weirdly, the Wales Online have got a picture of the dead horse. I mean, it's not very nice.
Bit macabre. Okay.
Yeah. They were doubly upset because it also meant the death of the unborn foal being carried by the mare. North Wales Live reported that having previously lost another horse in similar circumstances, William Medforth has now begged the public to be more aware of the perils of roadside feeding. Since his father Charles's death in 2017...
Sorry.
Yeah.
Can I just also say the perils of roadside feeding is also a very good episode title.
The perils of roadside horse feeding. It really is, Rob.
Sorry,
you're right. Since his father's Charles' death in 2017, William has assumed his role as the guardian of Cleveland Bay, one of Britain's oldest equine breeds. Despite their renowned versatility, numbers slumped in the 20th century, and by 1962 there were only 4 purebred stallions left in the UK.
Wow.
This is a breed rarer than the giant panda, said William, so to lose one of our most prolific brood mares and her unborn foal is not just devastating for our breeding programme, it's damaging for a breed as a whole. Nant Loyal Harmony, bought by Charles Medforth shortly before his death, was playing a crucial breeding role at Penryn Stud in... I can't say these words. The 16-year-old mare had already produced 2 foals for the stud and was due to foal again next May. Her value lay in the purity of her old breeding bloodlines in what is England's oldest breed of horse, Rob. I know that horse bloodlines are something that you care very much about, Rob.
I don't know what to do with that information.
On Sunday evening, November the 19th, Will checked up on her and all was well. At 8 a.m. the next morning, I drove past the field on my way to work and saw her lying in the field. Evidence suggested, Rob, somebody like you, Rob, had tossed food items over the gate and she had died of colic or perhaps choke. Patches of grass nearby had been extensively grazed, a sign she'd been scouring food items from the ground. There also appeared to be remnants of peelings at the edge of these patches. Harmony loved her food, so it's likely she ate the majority of what she was given, and her death by feeding was the farm's second in 3 years, Rob. So, there you go.
Alex, I take offence to the fact that I know what to feed a horse, okay? I know the horses eat hay, okay? I know that they like to lick salt. and occasionally they're partial to the old Snickers.
Right. Okay. Some people might think it's a nice idea to feed a pretty horse, but our horses are well looked after, they fed a balanced diet, and they want for nothing. If anything, they're better fed than we are.
Is that true?
This is how things work out, Rob, in the Shires. You know, horses are better fed than humans, and that's the way it should be. Yeah?
It's true, Alex. I mean, but to be fair, the people in the Shires, there's too many of them. You know, if they died to decrease the surplus population, as Scrooge once said, then you know the horses could thrive.
You're right. But he asks, Rob, why do the general public, and by general public, Rob, he means people like you,
right?
Why do they think it's okay to feed livestock without permission? They wouldn't walk up to someone and feed their dog chocolate or grapes, which are poisonous to them. People might think carrots are okay for horses, but cut the wrong way, they can cause a choke. So please don't interfere with their diets. You might be killing them with your ignorance. Killing them with your ignorance, Rob. And it reminds me of the carrot baton story we had, because that man did actually choke by being pulled into a carrot baton. He inadvertently choked by carrots, didn't he, last week?
yeah, slightly different. Also, I don't think, I'm just going to put on record, I don't think a duck is considered livestock.
Okay. Established in 1972, the Penryn stud has established a global reputation for breeding Clevelands, which have a recorded history dating back to the 17th century. Originating from the Cleveland district of Yorkshire, the breed was developed largely by monks to produce pack horses to carry goods between abbeys and monasteries.
Right.
Clevelands thrived, Rob, because they were so adaptable, initially working as draft horses on farms, then developed for speed as roads improved. This combination of strength and speed saw them used extensively as coach horses, their well-arched necks cutting a dash. This is a very peculiar story.
I don't
is
know
it an advert for this man's breeding program? Because it
probably
that's what it sounds like. Anyway, just because, Rob, this is interesting. Later, Buffalo Bill Cody drove 4 Cleveland-based stallions in his Wild West show, and in the First World War they carried British troops or pulled artillery. Losses were high, and increased mechanisation in the following decades led to further sharp declines. So, Rob, industrialisation has really impacted this breed of horse. One can only wonder what will happen with the advent of AI.
Yeah, mech-horses.
Mech-horses. That's brilliant, Rob. That's absolutely brilliant. After reaching a nadir in the early 1960s, the breed was rescued by the late Queen. Within 15 years, numbers of purebred stallions in Britain climbed from 4 to 36. And do you know what that was helped by, Rob? Prince Philip's love of carriage driving. Another thing which Prince Philip... Hang on. Rob, stop. That's another thing which Prince Philip has contributed to our economy and our way of life.
Good point.
Yeah? He raised the number of these horses from 4 to 36. The horses that are better fed than humans, by the way, as it should be.
Yeah.
Penryn was among the studs to benefit from royal patronage. Charles went on to become president of the Breed Society, where by the time of his death he was renowned as a leading expert. Cleveland remain highly regarded as hunters and jumpers, Rob.
Okay.
Yet the breed is still regarded as critically endangered by the Rare Breed Survival Trust, with less than 300 breeding females registered worldwide. In contrast, Rob, there are around 1,860 giant pandas. That is an injustice. We should cull the pandas to be down at a level so that things are even.
Yes. Also, who cares about the panda? This is a good traditional British horse. That's what I want to hear about. I don't want to hear about, pandas not mating. I want to hear about horses fucking.
Well, let's just finish. He says, this guy, whoever he is, so every female is critical for the breed. To lose harmony like we have means we have one less female, one less foal in the field next year, potentially another female. It's very, very deflating after all the wonderful work my father did. And, of course, Prince Philip,
yep.
His Highness, His late Highness. There are some comments. Talforian, this is the way, says, it's a big problem. My brother kept a donkey and a Shetland pony. The field was near the road. People would be feeding them all manner of rubbish. And my brother was fed up with telling them. You'd be surprised at the ignorance out there regarding what animals eat. Some of the worst cases are dog owners who think their dogs can eat anything. Only the other day a neighbour told me her dog was seriously ill. I asked her what she'd eaten and she thought that the only thing she could think of was a Christmas mince pie. We all know they contain raisins, which will kill your dog. What have you got to say, Rob? Do you feel ashamed? Because you're out there feeding animals.
Just ducks, and only feeding ducks, and only oats, because ducks like oats, and apparently it's quite good for them.
Okay, Rob, over to you, my friend.
Thank you, mate. So my first story is from NBC News. The story is from the 27th of November by Natalie Keynes. The headline is Child Driving Stolen Construction Forklift Leads Ann Arbor Police on Chase.
Who on chase?
Ann Arbor Police, so the police of Ann Arbor.
A child driving a forklift truck. I mean, how would they... Because they wouldn't be able to reach the pedals, would they? Unless they were very precocious and put some bricks on them, you know.
Apparently he did. So a 12-year-old boy driving a stolen construction vehicle led police in Michigan on an hour-long chase. Striking about 10 parked cars in the process, the Ann Arbor Police Department have said. 12, Alex.
How old is this child and how long is that? Because how is he operating this thing? How's he seeing over the... You know, these are big machines with big steering wheels and big windshields.
I've seen some tall 12-year-olds, Alex. I mean, we're not talking like a toddler.
Right, okay, yeah.
So the vehicle, which is a construction genie...
I don't know why, but the phrase, I've seen some tall 12-year-olds, tickles me for some reason.
Yeah, I know, yeah. As soon as I said that, that's slightly odd. So the vehicle, which was a construction genie GTH 636 telehandler, in case there's any construction vehicle fans out there, equipped with a forklift and weighing up to £35,000, was stolen from outside the Forsyth Middle School using a key found in the cab, police have said. This was a very dangerous situation that could have easily ended with serious injuries, police said in a statement. The incident remains an active and ongoing criminal investigation. Police were first called to the school around 6:45 p.m. and later found the boy driving down the street without the vehicle's headlights on. With emergency lights on and sirens blazing, multiple officers pursue the vehicle between 15 and 20 miles an hour through the Georgetown Boulevard neighborhood. So we're talking a low speed police chase here, Alex. To be under no delusion.
Well, it would be. Diggers. I've never seen a digger speeding down the motorway. That would be.
That's a good point. That's a good point. So, in a video of the pursuit shared by the department, the Ann Arbor police can be heard saying, "He's lowering the hooks. Don't go in front of it," i.e., the forklift. Police stopped the pursuit around 7:20 when the child left city limits via the M14 bridge. The Washington County Sheriff's Office picked up the pursuit until just before 8 p.m. when the child stopped driving. Obviously, we can't detail exactly who the child is for obvious reasons. But yeah, he's been picked up, but not without damage. Well, yeah, but he damaged 10 parked vehicles in the process.
And he'll be spending the rest of his life, Rob, in a state penitentiary.
Correct, Alex, yes.
Yeah.
So we're going to move to a more local story here. This is from the Shropshire Star. It is by Richard Williams from the 29th of November. And the headline is, Thieves use Bible to break into Telford church-turned-restaurant on its 6th anniversary.
How, that's quite ironic, isn't it? But an inventive way of sort of incorporating the word of God into your daily life. Exactly.
In some way, you can also ask for repentance for committing the crime, whilst in the process of doing it.
You're right. So yeah, kill two birds with one Bible.
Exactly. So the owner of a Telford family restaurant based in an old church said she is heartbroken after it was targeted by thieves this week. Now, Alex, before I read the next sentence, we've had some... I had to read this twice. So I thought I misread her name when I first saw the story. I don't know what her cultural background is.
Right.
But just bear this in mind. So, restaurant 1840 in Dwaley had been celebrating its 6th anniversary on Tuesday, but when owner Jelly Tench...
Jelly Tench?
Jelly Tench. So first name Jelly as in jelly, Tench as in the fish. Jelly Tench.
What a great name. What a great name.
Yeah.
Yeah, no words.
Amazing. Yeah. So when owner Jenny Tench came in the following morning, she found windows smashed and food strewn across the floor of her business, which had been gutted by thieves. She said, Anything that hadn't been stolen had been destroyed. They've been ruthless. Everything had been gutted.
One of the things that we've been hearing about a lot, Rob, is the extraordinary amount of shoplifting that is going on in the UK.
Yes.
Like the amount of security, like it is apparently just rampant. And I've heard shop owners say, whether it be big corporations or small, it's like just people are just coming in and just looting and stripping everything. I think, Rob, the sort of loony left would like to tie these kind of acts to sort of the cost of living crisis, people having no money, people having no resources. But it's not that, Rob, is it? It's just thuggery.
Yeah, it's just broken Britain. It's the criminal classes, Alex.
Right.
That are trying to show up the current administration. Their apparent failings. When obviously Britain is great again, or whatever the phrase is. They targeted the kitchen mainly. They targeted the kitchen mainly and have taken almost everything they could. There's a large volume of spirits and wine gone, but they even emptied the fridge and took ox heart and some tongue. She added, I'd be amazed if they know how to cook it.
That's just taking everything for the sake of it, isn't it?
Yeah, well, she continues by saying they even took my mum's oat milk that she used in her coffee in the morning, which kind of adds insult to injury.
Did they take, Rob, the kitchen sink?
They didn't, unfortunately, Alex. They left that in situ, but only because it was difficult to remove.
Right. Okay. Well, no. Lacking industry, Rob, and that's why those people probably don't have gainful employment.
Good point. Alex.
That's what Jacob Rees-Mogg would say.
Correct. Miss Tench has been running the Stringley Lane business for the last 2 years with her mother and her chef. The restaurant is located in the former Methodist Church in Drawley and remains most of its original features. And the restaurateur said the thieves even used Bibles from the former church to break into the kitchen. She said they used the Bibles as kneepads so they could smash the windows. That's quite sad, isn't it?
God. I mean, and did none of them think? Was none of them compelled, even as they knelt on Bibles, to remember, like, "Thou shalt not steal"?
Apparently not, Alex. No, they were. To be honest, they were probably too, high on drugs to realise that. I would imagine.
Right. Yeah. Can I say, Rob, we are sort of satirically impersonating right-wing pundits, which unfortunately now, Rob, sort of dominate our landscape.
I said this to someone the other day. I feel that
that was just the person on the train you were telling this to, wasn't it, Rob?
He was just a stranger. I felt he needed to hear it. James O'Brien is really the only left-wing pundit that I really can think of off the top of my head that has any sort of mainstream platform. It's quite sad.
Agreed.
Just to say though, so Miss Tench has said they are sorting through the mess, but they hope to reopen on Friday.
It's quite quickly, isn't it? Considering what happened, quick turnaround. It's just going to be an empty. With a pot of oat milk in the middle, I mean.
It is very strange. It's quite a very quick turnaround, considering that she said the place has been less devastated and everything's been stolen.
Well, maybe that's the look they want. Maybe that's that, but that will fit in with current, landscape of things in the UK. Sort of gutted, broken, run down. That's what we're used to, Rob.
Well, also, I mean, there's a shabby chic thing. I mean, if this was in Shoreditch, it would probably be Michelin starred.
Okay, Rob, it is time for our listener story of the week. What have you got? Who's it from?
So this is from Khyber.
Thank you, Khyber.
From the BBC News website from the 29th of November. Now, I think this story has been doing the rounds somewhat. I think it's gained a bit of traction. It's by Anne Phipps and Sarah Hawley. The headline is Mansfield. Arrest as mystery market chocolate makes children ill. Something about the phrase mystery market chocolate just really, really drew me into the story.
Mystery market chocolate. It doesn't have anything to do with Benedict Cumberbatch, does it?
No, right. Apparently not, no.
If anybody wonders why I said that, you need to go into our back catalogue and find Rob's story about a chocolate Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yeah, which was absolutely true, and there's even evidence to support it.
And wasn't an April Fool's, apparently.
Yeah. So, a woman has been arrested after chocolate stolen at a market store made people ill.
Oh.
Police launched an investigation following reports that people fell unwell after eating unlabelled chocolate bought at Mansfield Market. I mean, first of all, Alex, why would you buy unlabelled chocolate? Just a question.
Yeah. Well, what do you mean? No. Hang on a minute. On a market that you would, like, if people were selling, like, fresh chocolate, for want of a better word, that wasn't in, do you know what I mean? Like fudge, that kind of thing. You wouldn't, this is homemade chocolate. Why wouldn't you buy it?
Yeah, maybe. But I don't know. It said, when it says unlabelled, I just assume that.
Unlabelled as in, it like it's not a brand, I thought it meant. Like, it's not a topic bar, Rob, or whatever other shit you eat.
Yeah. Okay. After eating unlabelled chocolate bought at Mansfield Market in Nottinghamshire on Saturday, they included a 10-year-old boy who was taken to hospital.
Oh.
So the Food Standards Agency said that the arrest was linked to the sale of a product called Cali Gold. Right. Now, Alex, if you saw some chocolate that was called Cali Gold, would you think that maybe that chocolate might have been laced with something?
Why would I think that? Explain.
Well, I don't know. I mean, to me, that would imply that it could be. I think the phrase is an edible. I.e. laced with cannabis.
Oh, right, because of the word Cali.
Yeah.
Well, Cali, California, in your mind equals cannabis. I'm confused.
Well, maybe not. I don't know. Maybe I would make that association. But if it was on it, to be fair, if it was part of like it's like a food market, you wouldn't necessarily make that connection.
No, I'll tell you what, Rob, if it was Cadbury's Cali Gold, you'd be wolfing it up.
That's true, Alex.
Yeah.
We are not, by the way, we're making absolutely clear that we're not implying that Cadbury have started lacing their chocolate with cannabis, just to make that absolutely clear.
Not as far as we're aware, no.
Yeah, no.
Bourneville. That's the kind of chocolate great Jacob Rees-Mogg eats, Rob.
That's true, Alex, yeah. It added it was working with the relevant authorities to find out whether they had been whether there had been wider distribution of the product. Nottinghamshire Police.
So do we know what was in this that was making people sick?
Well, it just said it. So according to the police, they said it was a noxious substance.
Bleach.
Does it go into any? Does everything actually tells you? Does it go into one? Well, okay. Look, we'll get into detail about what actually it did.
Okay.
So one family said their 10-year-old son was taken to hospital after having a terrifying reaction to the chocolate. Ian told the BBC he had purchased 10 bars. 10 bars? Okay. 10 bars of what they sold as mystery chocolate.
Hang on, stop. Yeah, it was mystery chocolate. So, right, if I'm purchasing 10 bars of things, I've tasted it first, right? I've sampled it first. I'm not just buying 10 bars of a mystery chocolate. And by the way, no, if something's being labelled as mystery unlabelled chocolate, like what? That could be shit for all I know, frozen hard shit. No, I'm not buying that.
So Ian told the BBC he had purchased 10 bars of what was being sold as mystery chocolate, which came in gold wrapping without any writing on.
Right.
Sorry.
Okay.
Why was there no alarm bells ringing at this point? The only thing I could think was...
Where was this as well? I think it also depends where it is, because again, you mentioned Shoreditch, If it was Shoreditch, I'd think, yeah. Where did you say this was? Was it Nottinghamshire?
Mansfield, yeah.
Mansfield. Yeah, I mean, the fact that it's got a market is surprising in and of itself.
Yeah, do you know, so Swindon very, very recently placed Mansfield, and Mansfield is one of those places that, as you know, Alex, I have a good geography of the UK. I know literally nothing about Mansfield. I can't even give you one fact. I know it's in Nottinghamshire, thanks to the story, but I know nothing about the place.
Well, you do now, Rob. You know that people routinely sell unlabelled mystery poison chocolate.
Absolutely correct. So that evening, his wife Kim gave the confectionery to Amelia Ann, 13, Jacob, 12, Isaac, 10, and Emily Natasha, 8, as a treat. But they soon began feeling sick, hallucinating, and acting spaced out.
Sorry. Okay, that's brilliant. What were they hallucinating? That's what I want to know.
They were eating good chocolate.
They were hallucinating Benedict Cumberbatch dressed as Willy Wonka, mixing up the chocolate. We're not implying that Benedict Cumberbatch was involved in this, by the way. I want to be clear about that.
No,
very good lawyers. Very good lawyers.
So I hear. My youngest daughter only had a little bit and just generally felt sick. But
Sorry, did he call her his English daughter?
No, his youngest daughter.
Oh, right, because that would be really odd.
Isaac, he was delirious. He was confused. He started staring at his hands and he was stroking the walls. He kept seeing a dark figure, hallucinating. Alex, he was seeing Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yeah, exactly, made of chocolate.
She said Amelia Ann became very giddy and confused and was crying, talking in a nonsensical way and felt sick and dizzy when Jacob was acting spaced. When Isaac, who has ADHD and autism...
Yeah, they've taken drugs.
Yeah, I think so. But when Isaac, who has ADHD and autism, began to worsen, Kim called an ambulance and were taken to hospital. He sounded like he was choking and gargling noise. Maybe that's really concerning. As a parent, that's concerning.
Like that, Rob.
He couldn't speak to us. Yeah, exactly, Alicia. His tongue was sticking out. He went all floppy. He just wasn't with it. Kim said she suspected the chocolate straight away.
Sorry, Rob. Who's lacing this chocolate with what is obviously like LSD? That's what's gone on here. No?
It's a good question, Alex. And then selling it. Also, to know, because I'm assuming the kids were with this father when he bought the chocolate, to quite, without any sort of moral issues,
Rob,
selling 10 chocolate bars.
Rob, you've just read a story. Rob, you've just read a story about people breaking into an innocent woman's restaurant by using Bibles as kneepads, and you're asking where is the morality? Rob, the morality left a long time ago. Yeah, it ran off on that. It ran off on that horse we mentioned earlier, and it's now dead. Yeah, in a field somewhere, after having choked on carrot battens that you fed it. Okay. That you incorrectly chopped, Rob.
Sure, yeah. I'd just like to make that absolutely clear that didn't happen. That wasn't me that killed that horse.
No, but I do hear there's a very good horse. If you've got some chocolate left over, I hear there's a very good horse farm that would welcome it.
Right, okay. So Kim's brother Killin, Kim's brother Killin, 30, said he and his 11-year-old daughter also felt ill after eating chocolate on the way home from the Mansfield market. When it first kicked in for me, I felt like I was rushing. I generally felt I had a party drug. This man implied, I don't know, the way this man's talking feels like he's had a lot of drugs in his life. I had to go.
You've just brought back a memory for me, Rob.
Really?
You know, I will often tell, like I told you, a memory. You know, I told you that story about like how at my school church fete, there was the caretaker of the school selling guns on a table and I bought an ancient axe from him, that kind of thing. I said to you, it's a different time. I now remember being taken to, I think it was Italy or somewhere like that with my parents when I was... when I was younger. I think I was about 9, 10. And do you remember that the symbol at that time for kind of the drug acid was that smiley face?
Yes.
Do you remember it? Was yes. My parents had no issue with buying a T-shirt that I walked around in for the entire time with that acid symbol on it. I had it for ages. They just didn't care.
Let's be honest. They had no idea what that meant, surely.
Well, quite obviously, yeah. But, I think people saw me as some sort of drug mule.
Alex, you don't remember there was I think that you would have remembered this as well. Do you remember the character of Herbie? That there was a massive Herbie trend in the 90s on pairs of G's and tops.
Wasn't Herbie that car? But then there are movies about it. The car...
Was it Herbie? Have I made that wrong? It was basically, he was just like this Rastafarian character who was quite obviously smoking a spliff. And it was obviously associated with drug culture.
Don't remember that.
You're looking at me like...
I think you've hallucinated
Herbie. That. Listeners, if you know what I'm talking about, please get in touch. I'm sure his name was Herbie. I might have to Google that. But just to say the police are investigating... Oh, okay. So apparently the Nottingham police have said tests are in the process of being carried out, but at present there is no evidence to support claims that the chocolate bars contained any illicit drugs.
Right. So what's the other explanation then for these kids? What's gone on then? It
was apparently just really good chocolate.
No, yeah, right. So what happened then at home with these kids, with these parents, where they ended up taking a trip, accidentally got some of Dad's LSD out the drawer? I mean, that is a...
we're not implying that this happened, by the way.
Well, we are for comedy value, but I'm just saying. But what else happened there? Or they ran into this mysterious Herbie character you're talking about, Rob, that you seem to have hallucinated in your youth.
I'm going to hang on.
Oh, he's looking it up.
I don't know, Alex. I've no idea. I mean, but obviously they're maintaining that all the children were affected by this. So, no. Oh, there he is. Yeah, I've got him. There we are. Herbie. Yeah, his name was Herbie. And Spliffy. That's right, Herbie and Spliffy. So
Herbie and Spliffy were your best friends from your youth in the countryside, were they, Rob?
They weren't my best friends. I'm saying that a lot of kids were wearing Herbie and Spliffy clothing.
They were your best friends, Rob.
It was massively popular.
They were your best friends, Rob, and you'd go around the countryside feeding horses carrot battens and other inappropriate things. That's what you would do. And we're going to finish the episode there. Sorry, Rob. Rob has left a trail of dead animals in his wake. Right. That's all you need to know.
Sure.
Ducks, horses, cows, sheep.
Other animals are available.
All creatures great and small. That brings this episode of LA Podcast to an end. We're going to be back in a week's time with another episode 420, I believe. We can be found on our website, lapodcast.net. From there, if you want to download the episodes manually, you can. There is a donate button in the top right-hand corner. If you wish to leave us a tip, be very much appreciated. Please subscribe. Please leave a review to wherever you listen to podcasts. But also, tell other people about the podcast and encourage them to take a listen. We will always appreciate that. We've very much enjoyed your company. God bless.
And keep it local.